Hello, my friends. I'm Daniel Shue, the Old House Agent. If you have never heard of me, I'm a real estate agent that specializes in selling old houses, and I work at Prestige Homes of the Tri-Cities in Bristol, Tennessee. And I'm here in Bristol, Tennessee today to talk about this magnificent house behind me that's for sale. We are on Spruce Street. It is 322. Sorry, I just left 337, and I'm like, where am I? 322 Spruce Street in Bristol, Tennessee. It's a magnificent house built around 1900. It sits on 2.4 acres, right across the road from the Fairmount Park. It's just a beautiful area we're in. But the house is special enough, but the land on which we're standing is even more special, maybe. This was the site of the Fairmount Hotel. It was a sprawling hotel built in 1879, I believe. And it pretty much took up 2 acres of this property. It was built by A.D. Reynolds, who was the brother of famous tobacco tycoon R.J. Reynolds. And they owned land here, helped develop some of Bristol. But before that, even, it was called Fairmount Forest. And it was a wooded area with virgin timber that was part of the plantation that was here before Bristol ever existed, where the main house of the plantation is our home now that sits up on Solar Hill downtown. Everything just kind of grew up around it. So many of the trees that were here were used in the early buildings downtown, which is really cool. So tons of history here. Now the reason this house is here is because the Fairmount Hotel burned in 1900, burned to the ground, and this house was constructed, we believe, about a year later. So come on in and let's take a look at it. It's beautiful Neoclassical Revival architecture, great brickwork. Everything just is as even as you can hope for in an old house. The brickwork, there are hardly no cracks or anything like that that come with a 100-year-old building. There has been some great base work done. The house needs probably some updates depending on whoever buys it. Some people might move in and say, great, I love it. Some people might change some things. So what we're looking at here is base work. One great thing is this porch floor that was redone a few years back. They took out the old wooden porch and put in this concrete, which is durable and wonderful. You could come out here and tile this, you could stain it, you could do a lot of things, but you're never going to have to replace a rotten floor here. Some of the railing needs a little bit of work. I think these are very mature shrubs. I think a lot of them can be saved, but to trim them back away from the banisters and everything should help you, not have this problem again once it's repaired. But the couple that did own this house, the wife still owns it. They've owned it since 1984, and it was an apartment building before that. So they have done massive amounts of work here, and I'll be happy to show you what all that entails. Also, stay tuned for a surprise at the end of the video, because it's not just this house. You get 2 houses for one. Let's just take a quick look down this porch, show you what we got going on. The house has storm windows on most every window. And then you got a nice shady porch back here. The ceiling looks like it did, I guess, in 1901, except they added some screening in there to keep bugs and bats out, so it's vented. I believe that venting was probably done because a porch roof slopes up toward the house. So if that roof gets hot, I'm assuming that heat goes into your house, and with it being vented, that'll certainly help with that problem. And then over here, we'll take a quick look at this side porch. There's a lot of house to see, so we've got to hurry. So you got another long porch over here too. And I'll give you a little hint. Your surprise is down there. So let's jump in here and see what we got going on. Great entrance, very formal entrance. I think this house is screaming for a circle driveway out front, which could be done relatively easy. There's a driveway in back that pulls right up to the kitchen for your groceries and such. Original solid oak door. Big boy of a door. And walking in, you've got this grand entrance in here, and boy does it feel good because the air conditioning is on. I only wore a wool vest because it was cloudy and rainy, and then as soon as I put this on, the sun comes out. So there you go. So you've got this grand staircase, all what I'm assuming is white oak. That was pretty popular at the turn of the century because it was more desirable, it was more expensive, and it showed that you had lots of money to have it in your house. They also have these amazing floors, these like kind of parquet floors that are also original. Almost looks like a log cabin pattern on a quilt. And original, we believe, original anaglypta wallpaper. So this is all wallpaper that the landlord that converted this house for a few years obviously did not want to spend money replacing it, or they liked it. But whatever happened, thank God it's still here. And also this great border up at the ceiling is also anaglypta, and we believe it's original too, depicting like some medieval knights and such. Staircase is just beautiful, such great detail. I really like this spool look on the spindles. That to me feels very 1890s, but we do know that the house was not here in 1890. And then walking through these gigantic pocket doors, they are all oak as well, and they seem to work really well. Well, too well. She just had some work done on those too. You walk into this great parlor. Beautiful fireplace. This house does not let you down when it comes to fireplaces. Some houses of this period would have beautiful ornate fireplaces, and then they would have a brick one here and there that I think is not very attractive. But this one was not like that. They had these beautiful wooden mantels. Great baseboards with these corner pieces. And then that is a relative of the original builders. I don't know that the owner knows who that is, but we just know that it belongs in the house. Now what they did here, this was clever. Like I said, this was split up into apartments and they had added bathrooms. So luckily the house comes with, 5 bathrooms, I believe, and 4 full and 1 half. And this was a clever idea here. Again, some purists out there may not like this, but in order to bring these houses into the 21st century, sometimes things have to be modified, or you have a museum that's just going to fall in on itself because no one can live in it. They took what I'm assuming was pocket doors, maybe, although there were hinge marks over here, so maybe they were swinging doors. But nevertheless, this was a doorway to another parlor, and they closed it up, added a shelf in here that you could match the woodwork a little better. And then you go into here, and it's a first floor master suite. They were very careful about keeping all the original doorknobs. If the baseboards weren't original, they were made to match. And so you have a really good-sized bedroom here on the first floor, lots of light, great woodwork. And then over in here, you've got a full bath with a jacuzzi. Made it, and by splitting this up into 2 rooms, this made a great big bathroom. I mean, you got plenty of room to walk around in here. And again, you could update it or leave it. I told Monica this kind of feels like Adam and Barbara's house on Beetlejuice. It's that same feel, and I kind of like that. Great view of the porch out there. And then there's a half bath here. And the reason this exists is if you wanted to close that one and have this be some kind of den for people to be in, here's visitors to come into, here's a half bath. If not, you can close that door, and then this goes to the kitchen. Huge, 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 huge kitchen. I mean, it's like 35 feet long. And again, they modified this, the current owners, this was 2 rooms, probably like a butler's pantry and some stuff like that. And they made this into this great usable kitchen. So you've got an eat-in area here with this nice Tiffany-style chandelier. And over here, ample counters and cabinet space. Now, you can also look at this, and before you make a quick judgment, go, oh, that's 90s oak cabinets. Bear with me. The woodwork in this house is mostly oak. So everything they did in here was carefully appointed to help match the original style of the house. So if you wanted to do any updates in here, the layout is great. Replace your countertops. You could pop that edge, that railing off of the cabinets, which I actually kind of like. You could put a small crown molding up there, leave it open, replace the pulls. There are things you could do in here to make sure that you are, adhering to the style of the house successfully. And also the appliances are pretty recent too, so unless you have a preference, you wouldn't really want to replace those. Now we're going to go back out of that door in a few minutes, but right now we're going to finish the first floor and the second floor. little desk area over there and a view over the neighborhood. This is such a beautiful neighborhood. These houses over here are stunning, stunning houses. I'm in love with the one across the road. I've got to contact those people and see if they'll let me sell it for them. And in here is like a den, very masculine feel. They added this paneling later, I guess in the 70s or early 80s, and it works. You know, probably I would come in here and have to restore it, but if you wanted to leave it like this, it's a nice feeling. It's nice and dark and cozy. It works well. There's nothing wrong with it. This paneling is in fine condition. And then one of my favorite, probably my favorite mantle in the whole house is this guy. I just think that's beautiful. I believe the tiles are original. And these fireplaces were also not coal burners. They're huge. And that's a gas log set right there. The house has gas heat and heat pumps for air. So let's run upstairs and take a look up there. Oh, but before we do, here is a etching or lithograph of the original Fairmount Hotel that used to sit here. So if you do dig a circular driveway or you put a pool in or something like that, you make sure that you sift through that dirt. You make sure that you have a metal detector person up here checking this stuff, because I guarantee you there are all kinds of awesome artifacts on the grounds of this property that go back to the first parts of Bristol's history as a town. See, Bristol did not exist until the 1850s. It was a plantation for the house that we live in. And James King, who owned our house, sold the sheep meadow as a starting point. I believe it was 100 acres to his son-in-law, Joseph Anderson, in the 1850s. Joseph Anderson thought that it was a junction point between two states, Virginia and Tennessee, and he could establish a town here. So the town in Tennessee was called Bristol, Virginia, and the town in Virginia was called the town in Tennessee was called Bristol, Tennessee, and the town in Virginia was called Goodson. And then they combined later, but there was nothing here till the 1850s. Then Stoneman's raid came through during the Civil War and burned everything down. So now what we have are buildings mostly built after the Civil War. So as you all know, we own Pleasant Hill, and we say it's one of the oldest buildings in Bristol at 1872. And the reason for that is there really wasn't anything here in 1872. It had all been burned down. So here we are in this beautiful little bedroom. I love what they've done in here. They match the wallpaper to the colors on the tile that's original. And then they painted the trim work this mauve color. Now, the ceilings in the house have been dropped. You can, as an old house expert, I can see the second floor. Obviously, they've been dropped at least a couple of feet. But if you wanted to leave them this way, it's only going to help your heat bill. I mean, it's not uncomfortably low or anything like that. I think it really works well for this house. You've got closets in every bedroom. There's a full bath here that's really manageable, so it can be off from that bedroom. And then the laundry room here was probably a bedroom at one time. This thing's huge. They just redid this a few years back. So you got a lot going on here. And great views also. I like a nice, bright laundry room. Not that I do laundry. I washed some things of Monica's once and ruined them, and she forbade me from doing that again. So out here's the balcony. Yeah, you get a balcony. You get these incredible views of this neighborhood. There's that wicked cool house over there. I wish I knew the story on that. The roof is in great condition. There's Fairmount Park, where you'll see people walking their dogs once in a while and having a great time. It's nice and quiet over here. And again, you're on 2.4 acres. This is a huge lot for Bristol. You're not downtown, but you're in town. Let me just lock that back while it's on my mind. So then jumping out of this other master suite, down here, we find this bedroom, which we call the library, because it's got this shelving that goes with the house. It's really cool. And again, good ceiling height in here. It's going to help you with your heat bill. Beautiful fireplace mantle. Colors are nice. The tiles original. The flooring's original. This has all been refinished. You've got so much to work with here. You've got so much to work with. This house is in really great condition. And in here is like a little sitting room off from this. So potentially you have 1, 2, 3, 4 master suites. Wrap your head around that for a minute. Pine flooring in here, stunning mantle. I absolutely love this mantle. It was never painted. Great tile work. I'm fascinated by this tile. It's got a really funky design on it, and they placed it where the pattern's going the same direction. They obviously were purposeful about that. So this could be a little sitting room for you. Put a TV in here, sofa, a couple of chairs off from that bedroom, and then you also have a walk-in closet with old cabinets. I don't know if they're original. They probably are. Old cabinetry in here. I would love to have a closet like this. We are not blessed with great closets at the King House. I'll just leave it at that. And then here's a full bath in here for this suite. Again, you could come in there, paint. The shower and tub are white already. It's got a really nice high quality toilet in there. And across the hall is the fourth suite. This is the one with the largest bathroom. So depending on what you wanted to do in here with your petition here and how you wanted to configure things, you've got a beautiful fireplace. You know, however you wanted to position your bed, this could be a great bedroom. It could be a really big bedroom if this could come out. Not sure what it does. And then jumping in here, and I'm telling you all, it's hot outside, and it is 70 in here. I mean, this house is really cool when you walk in from outside. Here is this giant bathroom. I mean, it's huge. You could put a sofa in here so you can just get out of the bathtub and relax with a book. Speaking of bathtubs, this is an original tub to the house they were able to save. I do believe the faucet is original to it. Looks really, really good. They've got frosting, frosted glass here that is not fake. Big sink area, just a great big space, and it's got its own closet as well. I guess this was a bedroom at one time, may have even been a servant's room. And then in here is another closet. This closet has a little secret. It goes to the full walk-up attic. Now that is a pretty usable space. It's mostly floored. You've got some ductwork laying around, and of course it's hot in the summer, but you should be able to store stuff up there okay. But hold on, there's a big basement. And then the wallpaper in there, you could go by if you wanted to replicate that. I'm pretty sure that's 1901 era wallpaper. They probably had a scrap left over from another room. So coming out of this area, we will head downstairs and check out the basement and then go see your surprise. I really like the way this banister curves right here. It's very attractive. And the anaglypta runs up to the second floor also. If you haven't gotten the idea yet, this house it's pretty compact. It's a large house, but it's not ridiculously huge. Like I said, she lived here since '84. I don't think she did not complain to me about the electric bills or the gas bill. With those lowered ceilings, that's certainly helpful in this situation. So we're coming down to the basement, and this basement is huge. It's almost full. It's probably 3/4 of a full basement, but with the extension they added on, it's almost a full basement, but just shifted. So you got this room here, lots of workspace. He's got built-in countertops. Oh, sorry, I touched my microphone. Hope I didn't put y'all deaf. And then in here is another little room. It was like a music room, so they've sort of soundproofed it. If you do music, you might want to just keep some of that stuff like it is. And then here's another large room in here. Great work area. Look at these cool cubbies where he could sit stuff. I would love to have met this gentleman. Her husband seemed like a really cool guy. He had pocket watches and all kinds of mechanical things that he liked working on. It feels great down here too. And that's not all the basement. Here is another large room with workspace. There's a sink down here. I'm assuming this works. Yep, sink works. Outlets galore. And then your hot water heater is back in that area. And the walls down here are plywood, which is really cool, nice and durable. I'm sure they won't mildew like sheetrock. It is a basement. And also you can screw things and drive things into them easily. And then they took, on the back of the house, they rebuilt the back porch, which I'll show you in a moment. And this is under this huge back porch. So you have a garage right there that would fit a decent sized car in, and the driveway comes up to it and then around the back of the house to the kitchen. So this wall here is, more recent, and the foundation over here is original. This is a great space. You can tell they built it to code whenever it was. They've got their hurricane brackets and all that jazz, which they require here in Bristol. Well, let's head up and I'll show you what lies outside. And there's your 400 amp service. Lots of updated wiring. If you can't see the $1.2 million price tag yet, hang on. Look at this giant porch. I mean, this is just crazy. You could fit like 25 people out here for a little party. And it has plexiglass windows that can be removed and become a screen porch. As a matter of fact, I think she's removed a few of them already. Literally tons of light. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 light fixtures. Great space. I think these columns they're either original or they replicated what was here, because I saw a picture of the house when they were renovating it and the columns looked identical to these. Nice, bright, sunny space. All right, if you're ready for your surprise, let's jump out here and see. The surprise is, not only do you get this house and all the history of the grounds and this incredible location, but just beyond this parking pad where you can fit about 6 cars is that. That is the Carriage house that the court says was built around 1925. I think it was built in 1901. And it had servants' quarters in it as well. They renovated this, I think she said less than 20 years ago. And it looks great inside. They took the original carriage doors, the carriage openings, and put those bay windows in. The windows on top appear to be original. And it just looks like some kind of little English cottage just dropped into Bristol, Tennessee. There's little shutters and these big brick chimneys. It's a fantastic building. If I were selling this house on a 1/4 acre in Bristol, Tennessee, I'd put $325 on this. So come in and check it out. As you can see, it is fully renovated. And like I said, I think that was about 20 years ago, but obviously they've done some work since then. It's got parquet floors in here on what I guess is concrete. It feels pretty solid, like it doesn't echo. And then your laundry area is right here outside the living room. Everything's compact. There's that. Well done. And out here, before we see the rest of the place, I'll show you this incredible deck. Can you get out okay? Giant deck. I did not know this was here when I first toured the house. The people that live here were home. They're moving soon, so it will be empty. And they were home, so I didn't get to come through here. And when I saw this deck, I about lost my mind. I mean, this is just so cool. And it's very secluded back here. Great place for coffee or drinks in the evening. So coming back in the living room area. Great light. Walls are in good condition. I guess they drywalled everything. Beautiful staircase. And it's got a heat pump also. I don't believe it's gas heat. And this little New York style kitchen, which is so cool. I really, really like this kitchen. There's a pass through there to the little eat-in dining area. Here's your first floor bathroom. Let's see if there's a light. Oh, I think I made a bad mic noise. And then here is your first floor bedroom. Now, this room is interesting. There's a fireplace here, I'm positive. There's a giant chimney out here and no real reason for it. And Monica said she saw some sort of outlines here. So I think there's a fireplace behind here if you wanted to open that back up for a bedroom or whatever situation you wanted. And these beautiful window wells with all this shelving and stuff in it. It's a very cool room, very cool house. It's a closet there under the stairs. Now, if you don't like this place yet, come upstairs, because this is where it gets really cool. What they managed to do is they managed to leave the old servants' quarters in the renovation. So you have this wicked, like, Jane Austen apartment up here. Look at this, how cool. These big window wells. I like the wallpaper. I think it's cool. I don't know if this was a fireplace or if maybe they brought this mantle from downstairs, because there may be a fireplace in the living room as well. Nevertheless, it looks great. These windows are beautiful, seated glass. And these windows, they all have nice views of the back area of the house. They've got interior storm windows on them. And then the parquet flooring comes on up into this area too and looks so good. This is a big room. And here is the second floor full bath. Nice little original window there. You can open up to hear the birds sing while you're taking a shower. And this is really cool. Check this out. It's a little storage area that is not heated or cooled. It's not terrible in there today. They must have insulated well. It's a really cool area. Yeah, walk-in closet if you wanted to make this big room behind you a bedroom. And then my favorite detail of the house is this beautiful little window that they put in up there. Love that so much. In the shade. Well, thank you all for joining us today, because we really enjoy giving you these tours, and I appreciate your interest in these properties that I list and properties that I tour. Again, we are at 322 Spruce Street in Bristol, Tennessee. You can check that out. If you like this video, by all means, follow my page. I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube. There's also a really neat newsletter that I'm proud of, and I will put a link to that in the comments so you can find that. So I hope you have a nice day, and I will see you on the next video.